It's that time again, and I don't believe it. The wind is from the west, quite a strong wind from the west. 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 degrees centigrade, which is about, 50 Fahrenheit, 72% humidity, and 1018 millibars on the barometer. The wind is from the west. About time. I know I've been on about this every single episode, but it's been from the east to the northeast. Horrible. It's beginning to warm up. The weekend's over. We've done Easter. We've done Trisha's birthday. Loads of people around yesterday, Monday. It's Tuesday today. We cleared up this morning because it went on rather late. And there's wine bottles and cans of goodness knows what, beer cans, Coke cans, you name it. I didn't, Trish and I didn't drink much at all, but other people did. So we've cleared up and we can now look forward to a peaceful day, hopefully. We've been chatting recently about paper rounds, haven't we, and Saturday jobs, things like that. I think I mentioned I did a bit of gardening when I was, 12 years old, I suppose, for my neighbour. He used to give me half a crown, which in, what's that in today's money, 12.5 pence, isn't it? 2 and 6pence, 12, I don't know what it is, 12.5 pence, we'll go with that. Which now you might think, for an hour or two, 12.5 pence? Wouldn't get out of bed for that. But back then, for someone of my age, say 12 years old, that was all right. Go over to the sweet shop, I could buy a load of stuff, including, as I said, nearing bonfire night, penny bangers to blow people up. To blow things up, I mean, not people. What am I saying? Stone the crows. I didn't blow people up. Now, I remember I got into this gardening. A chap over the road said, would you do a spot of weeding for me? And I said, yeah, that's all right. He said, what's that chap pay you? I said, half a crown. That sounds fair. He said, if you want to do a bit of weeding on my front flower borders here, half a crown. There wasn't a time limit on it. It was just however long it took me for half a crown, which was fair enough, 2 and 6pence. Now, there was a lady a few doors along. She saw me in this chap's front garden. Would you do a bit of weeding for me? She said, oh, yeah. I said, yes, certainly. I'll come down and have a look after I've finished here. I was thinking, this is good. I could set up a little business here. How many penny bangers can I buy with all my money? Anyway, I finished the chap's garden, went down to see her. She took me through to the back garden, and there were 2 or 3 borders or whatever, 4 borders of flowers with quite a few weeds. And she said, I'll give you a shilling if you weed all that lot. So I put on my business-like face, whatever that was, looked around the garden and said, well, let's have a look. It'll be half a crown to do that side and probably half a crown to say, shall we say 5 shillings? Honestly, her face. I didn't really want to do it. It was a lot of work. It was a big garden. I didn't really want to do it. And she said, 5 shillings. Well, that's for all of it. Is it all the borders? And I said, yes, because it will take some time. Oh, all right, she said. Can you do that now? I said, yes, of course I can. Happy days. A chap I knew that lived down the road, same school as me, he started doing window cleaning. That was quite good. I don't know what he charged, but he used to go around, because our road was all bungalows. So he went up and down the road doing the window cleaning. A lot of people had a window cleaner already, but he sort of fitted in with the regular window cleaner, and he got quite a few jobs. So there's me gardening, there's him window cleaning. He started then cleaning cars for people. Clean your car for half a crown. It was excellent. Which reminds me, we have a couple of lads in our street. They clean cars. They've done ours a couple of times, I think, and they're due to do it again. That's inside and out. Clean the whole car, wash it, polish it, do the whole lot, vacuuming, everything. And they do a really good job. And I don't mind paying them. They're entrepreneurs, aren't they? They're doing what I used to do, earning some money while they're out of school, weekends, school holidays. Why not? That's what it's all about. I used to get pocket money, of course. I forget what that was. Was that half a crown a week? I believe that was half a crown a week, 12.5 pence a week. There was one kid at school, 10 shillings a week he got. That was, 4 half crowns. 10 shillings. His parents were quite wealthy, and he'd come in new trousers, Cuban heel boots, and show them off. His parents had some money, which was very nice for him, but no one liked him. People kept away from him because we were all poor street urchins. Well, we weren't exactly street urchins, but, we all had to earn money, paper rounds, Saturday jobs, window cleaning, gardening, car washing. And he just had a load of money. He was having piano lessons, private piano lessons at home. I went to his house once after school. I don't know why, I didn't like him. Ended up at his house for some reason. And he had a big grand piano in the lounge. the music room. Sorry, my mistake. The music room, his mother called it. He played something on the piano and she came in. I thought it was beautiful what he was playing. I thought, wow, I wish I could do that. His mother came in and said, if you're going to play like that, don't bother. You either play properly or not at all. And I thought, stone the crows. I didn't think stone the crows, did I? I was at school. What did I think then? I don't know. What expressions did we have? Can't remember. But anyway, she told him off for playing badly, and I thought it was wonderful. But he was a bit of a big head. That was the trouble. Always boasting about he's done this and they've done that. After the school holidays, oh, we went to so-and-so. We went to the south of France. Where did you go? Bognor. No, not Bognor. We didn't go to Bognor. We didn't really go on holidays much. Went to Wales a few times, stayed in a caravan. He was always saying, oh, he'd been abroad here and abroad there, and oh, I don't know. I do remember years later, we'd all left school. We were in our, early 20s. I went into a pub local to me, and he was serving behind the bar, which I thought odd. I said, oh, I won't mention his name in case he listens. I said, oh, hello, Fred, that'll do. What are you doing behind the bar? He said, well, I work here. And I had always thought that he'd be some musician or something, concert pianist or whatever. And I said, are you working full-time here? Is this your job? He said, yeah, I'm full-time. And I just wondered what his parents thought. I didn't ask him, but I thought, yeah, what do his parents think? Because his dad was something in the city or whatever. His mother didn't work, of course. She was a sort of rich housewife or whatever she called herself. And he ended up working in a pub full-time. And he wasn't dressed that well. I did notice he wasn't dressed that well. So I don't know what happened. Perhaps they'd thrown him out. Perhaps his parents threw him out for playing the piano badly. I don't know, do I? Something had obviously happened and he'd ended up there. I, of course, was mending tellies, the radio and TV workshop. And I remember bumping into a kid from school one evening, wherever we were, a pub or a club or somewhere. And he said, what are you doing as a job? And I said, TV engineer. He said, TV, what, mending people's tellies, going around their houses, kneeling down, mending their tellies? I said, no, I don't go out. We've got field engineers for that. I'm in the workshop doing the more technical stuff, not going around houses changing valves. And I said, well, what do you do? And he said, what was it he called it? Millinery, was it? Millinery? He worked in some hat shop. He was a trainee milliner. I don't know what it was. He worked in the room out the back, I think making hats or something. And of course I burst out laughing. I didn't mean to laugh, but it just got me as funny. He made hats. Apologies if you are a milliner. Is that the word, a milliner, or have been a milliner? I don't know, it just got me as funny at the time. He probably went on to do big things in London. I don't know, perhaps he worked in Chelsea making hats for people like Twiggy. Did she wear hats, Twiggy? They all wore hats back then, didn't they? I wore hats in my teens. Various hats. I had quite a nice collection of hats. Hippie ones with flowers in, country type ones with pheasants' feathers stuck in it. I don't know why I did that. I went over the fields and the woods, pheasants' feathers and whatever I could find. And I stuck them all on this sort of farmer's hat that I had. So I had a hippie hat, a farmer's hat. I had various hats. I had a Donovan type hat, do you know, the sort of leather with the peak? I wore that quite a lot back in those days. Did you wear hats? I know some of the girls had hats. They had lovely hats. They had the white PVC knee-length boots and then a white PVC hat to go with it in the 60s. It really was good, the 60s. I loved it. And well, you know that, don't you? I've been banging on for over 6 years about the 60s. Raise Rants at protonmail.com. Did you wear hats when you were young? Do you wear hats now? Old ladies wear hats. Old ladies have always worn hats. Headscarves. Do you remember headscarves? My mum, back in the 50s and 60s, never went over the shops without her headscarf on. Sometimes, depending on where I was going in the evening, I wore a bandana. I had this kind of, I don't know what it was, a handkerchief thing. It was all flowery. Or perhaps it was I don't know what it was. Anyway, I used to roll it up, twist it up, fling it round between my hands, tie it round my head, hold my hair back. I must have looked a right idiot. And sometimes I wore this same thing around my neck with a little leather thing that, like the Scouts used to have, I'd do it up with this little leather ring. I must have looked like a right idiot. I don't have many photos from back then. Of course, we didn't have mobile phones and all that to take photos. You had to buy the film and have it developed. Colour, of course, was expensive. But when I look back, when I think at some of the things I wore, I must have looked absolutely ridiculous. On that note, I shall love you and leave you. The wind is still coming from the west, which is good. You're going to hear about the wind, aren't you? Twice a week now, every episode. The wind is doing this, the wind is doing that. If you're good, that's good. If you're bad, don't get caught. I will see you on... When will I see you? Do you know, it's bank holiday weekend. I'm now thinking it's Monday and it's Tuesday. I will see you on Sunday. Have a good week. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye for now.